What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the channel for Episode 4, Multiplayer Madness. Today, we're diving deep into the wild and wonderful world of multiplayer games, uncovering some truly mind-blowing secrets behind the titles you know and love. So grab your headset, squad up, and let's get into it. Let's start with a true titan of the industry, Call of Duty. Did you know this absolute behemoth of a franchise has sold over 400 million copies worldwide? To put that into perspective, that's more than the entire population of the United States. It is insane to think about how many virtual soldiers have hit the battlefield since the series began. And speaking of battlefields, let's talk about one of the most iconic maps in gaming history, Nuketown. That vibrant, chaotic, close-quarters map we've all rage-quit on at least once? It wasn't just pulled from thin air. The designers actually drew inspiration from real-life 1950s nuclear test sites in Nevada. These were fake towns, complete with mannequins, built just to see what a nuclear blast would do. Kinda creepy, right? But it gave us one of the most memorable and beloved maps in FPS history. So next time you're getting spawn-trapped on Nuketown, just remember its slightly chilling origins. All right, from gritty military shooters, let's pivot to something a little more colorful. Let's talk Fortnite. This game took the world by storm. But here's a fun fact you might not know. Fortnite didn't start as a battle royale. Nope. Its original concept, known as Save the World, was actually a cooperative zombie survival game where you'd build forts to defend against hordes of monsters. The Battle Royale mode was only added later as an experiment, and well, we all know how that turned out. It's a classic example of a side project completely overshadowing the main event. And you can't talk about Fortnite without mentioning its iconic emotes. The Floss, the Orange Justice, the Hype. They're a massive part of the game's culture. But did you know the Floss dance wasn't created by Epic Games? It was made famous by a kid online, Russell Horning, aka the Backpack Kid, after he performed it during a live TV performance with a famous singer. The dance went completely viral, and Epic was smart enough to jump on the trend and add it into the game, cementing its place in pop culture history forever. It just goes to show how much player culture can shape a game. Now let's move on to a platform that's all about player creation, Roblox. It feels like Roblox exploded overnight, but it's actually been around for a long time. The platform officially launched way back in 2006. For comparison, that's the same year the PlayStation 3 came out, but it didn't really hit its massive viral stride until the 2010s, slowly building a dedicated community before becoming the global phenomenon it is today. Talk about a slow burn to success, and that success is largely powered by its younger audience. It's truly a staggering statistic. Over half of all Roblox users are under the age of 16. It has become the digital playground for a whole new generation, a place where they can not only play games but create and share their own experiences with friends. It's a testament to the power of user-generated content and giving players the tools to build their own fun. Next up, a game that lets you control life itself, The Sims. This series has been a staple for decades, but its origin story is both tragic and inspiring. The creator, Will Wright, was actually an architect by trade. In 1991, he lost his home and almost all his possessions in a massive wildfire in Oakland, California. While rebuilding his life from scratch, he had a thought. What if you could turn the experience of rebuilding a life into a game? And from that deeply personal and difficult experience, the idea for The Sims was born. It's a powerful reminder that creativity can come from the most unexpected and challenging places. Now let's talk about the language of The Sims. We've all heard our Sims babbling away in Simlish. Sul sul, dag dag. But what does it all mean? Absolutely nothing. Simlish is complete and total gibberish. The creators intentionally made it a non-language. They wanted the emotions and stories to be conveyed through tone, animation, and the player's imagination, rather than through actual words. It forces you to project your own narrative onto the characters, which is a stroke of pure genius and a huge part of why the game is so universally appealing. Finally, we have to talk about the king of MMORPGs, World of Warcraft. At its absolute peak, WoW boasted over 12 million active paying subscribers. 12 million! That's like the entire population of a small country logging in to explore Azeroth. It created a culture, an economy, and friendships that have lasted for years. It wasn't just a game. For many, it was a second life. The impact it had on the gaming landscape is just impossible to overstate, and with a player base that massive, you're bound to get some extreme dedication. So, what's the world record for the longest continuous World of Warcraft session? A player once managed to stay logged in and actively playing for over 32 hours straight. 32 hours. That's more than a full day and night of battling monsters, completing quests, and probably drinking a whole lot of energy drinks. While we definitely don't recommend trying that at home, it shows the incredible immersive pull that the world of Azeroth has on its players. And that's a wrap for our deep dive into multiplayer madness. From real-life inspirations to accidental successes and gibberish languages, the stories behind our favorite games are just as fascinating as the games themselves. What's your favorite multiplayer memory or fun fact? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks so much for hanging out today. If you enjoyed the video and learned something new, do me a huge favor and hit that like button, and make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you don't miss the next episode. Until then, stay awesome and happy gaming.